Hey everyone, got another modding video for you guys. This is my Kramer Focus VT 211S. I mentioned in my review video of this guitar that if you're looking for a decent mod platform, then this guitar will actually fit the bill pretty well. So I think it is about time to do some mods to this guitar. I did swap out the tuners. I just got a cheap set of tuners on Temu for like $6. And actually they're like a million times better than the original tuners. I just couldn't live with those tuners anymore. They were just so stiff and just not great. I will eventually put a decent set of locking tuners on this guitar, but for now these tuners work pretty good. They're actually great. Like I said, they're like a million times better than the original tuners. But what I'm mainly going to do on this guitar is I'm going to do a complete electronics swap on this one. One of the great things about modding a Strat style guitar with a pickguard like this is the fact that everything's pretty much loaded, or everything's all wired in the pickguard. They make loaded pickguards where all the electronics come all pre-wired and all you got to do is swap the pickguard out. Or you can do what I'm going to do, and that's actually buy a pickguard and then build yourself a loaded pickguard, and then all you have to do is basically swap out the pickguards. So let me show you what I got here. So here's the pickguard that I got that I'm going to actually put on this guitar here. As you can see, it is a little bit different style. It's like a gray pearl color, so it is going to change the look of the guitar. And then if you notice, it's actually routed for HH pickup configuration. I'm actually going to change the pickup configuration on this guitar and convert it to a dual humbucker. So what I got for pickups is I actually got a set of Invader style pickups here. These aren't actual Seymour-Duncan Invaders. They're just some like no-name, like unbranded set that I got. But they are definitely going to be a little bit hotter than the original pickups. Which is something I'm going for. I'm going for like kind of like a more like metal type guitar. So I think these will work out really nice with that. And then also, whenever I do something like this, where I rip apart a guitar or build a loaded pickguard, I always like to do some like creative wiring, do something that so you end up with something that you can't just get off the shelf or get off the rack at Guitar Center. I did get actually this is a 4-way pickup selector switch. Normally you would see something like this in a telly. That's normally a mod that people do on tellies. But theoretically you could do this on, really any 2 pickup guitar with a blade style switch. So I am going to do a 4-way switch mod on this one here. What that will allow me to do is you have your 3 traditional tones, your bridge, your middle, which is your 2 pickups in parallel with each other, and then your neck pickup. But the 4th position is actually the 2 pickups in series with each other. So with dual humbuckers, I'll actually end up basically with 4 coils in series, or I can actually have a position where I can end up with 4 coils in series. And then I'm also I have a couple of pots here that I'm going to put in. If you notice, it's just 2 pots that I'm putting in. So I'm actually going to just do a master volume, and then I'm going to do a contour knob instead of a tone knob on this one here. Like I said, 4 coils in series, it may push the amp a little hard, and things might get a little muddy with the tone. So I'm going to put a contour knob, which is the opposite of a tone knob. A tone knob, it rolls off your low end frequencies, a tone knob will roll off your high end frequencies, like it rolls off your treble. A contour knob rolls off your low end frequencies. So I figured that might help with the, if it gets a little muddy with the 4 coils in series. I figure that'll help with that. And then if you notice, they are push-pull pots. I'm actually going to wire these pickups up. They are 4-conductor wire pickups. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do series parallel switching in the pickups themselves. So I'm going to be able to actually do series parallel switching between the 2 coils on the humbuckers. Traditionally, a humbucker, the 2 coils are wired up in series with each other. And then with the series parallel switching, what that does is it splits, the two coils in parallel with each other. You lose a little bit of output, but then it acts almost like two pickups, two single coil pickups, where you get those those in between strat tones, like positions 2 and 4 on a strat. And then since this pick guard, it does have 3 holes, but I only have 2 knobs, just for good measure, I'm just going to put a kill switch in it, just because I love kill switches. That's probably my favorite mod on a guitar. I have 2 other guitars that I'm gonna that I put kill switches in, and I'm gonna put a kill switch on this one just because they're just fun to mess around with, and why not? I'm ripping it apart anyway, and these are super easy to wire up. So may as well do that too. So anyways, that's what I plan on doing to this guitar here. I think it'll be fairly easy. I think one of the only variable I may run into on this is with these import guitars. Sometimes the screw holes don't always line up with the new pick guards, so I may have to plug the old holes and drill new ones, and then I may have to open up the openings a little bit for the bridge and the neck pocket, but those really aren't too big of a deal. And then it should be pretty easy and smooth sailing from there. So I'll go ahead and wire up this pick guard, get everything wired up and get it installed, and then we can do some tones and you can see how it sounds. All right, so here it is. I got the new pick guard all loaded up and installed in the guitar. I could not be happier with how this guitar turned out. I'm really happy with these mods. I think they sound really good, and I mean, the guitar just looks awesome now. To kind of recap what I did again on this guitar, obviously it's a new pick guard with a conversion to an HH pickup configuration. We have the dual unbranded humbuckers that look like invaders. They actually sound really good. I'm really impressed by them. I mainly bought them for the aesthetics, but I'm actually really impressed with how they sound, especially since I paid like $11 for them. We have the 4-way pickup selector, which this is normally a telly mod. People normally put them in tellies, but you can get it to work in any 2 pickup guitar with a blade style switch. We have the master volume, and then we have a contour knob instead of a traditional tone knob. Sometimes it's referred to as a focus knob or a bass contour knob. And then these are push-pull pots for series parallel switching within the coils and the pickups themselves. And then just for good measure, because I love them so much and I had the space for it, I added a kill switch. So a couple things I ran into when doing this project. In the first segment, I had mentioned how, guitars like this with a pick guard, it's really easy to just swap out all the electronics. You build yourself a nice loaded pick guard, and then you just swap out pick guards. Unfortunately, on this guitar, it wasn't so simple. So I had originally thought that when I first got this guitar, that I had actually looked under the hood and lifted up the pick guard and saw that this body was routed for HSH. But apparently I didn't, because I got this pick guard all loaded up and wired up. I pulled the old pick guard off and saw that this body is actually routed for HSS. So I was actually kind of debating on whether or not I should proceed on this one. I kind of kept going back and forth, and then I put the new pick guard over the on top of the body and just kind of looked at it, and I was like, man, I gotta do it. It just looked too cool to not proceed. So I did have to remove some wood to get this humbucker to fit in the neck position. Basically the wood that's between the routes for the neck pickup and the middle pickup, I basically took all of that out and kind of turned it into like a swimming pool route between the middle and the neck pickup. And then even after taking all of that out, I did also have to shim the neck to get proper pickup height adjustment on this. To get a proper pickup height adjustment on the neck pickup, I did have to shim the neck. So if you do want to put a full-size humbucker in one of these guitars, that is something you will have to keep in mind. You're going to have to, at the very least, you're going to have to remove some wood, and you may have to shim the neck. Another thing I ran into, and actually this wasn't a surprise to me, this was something I kind of anticipated, because it is something you run into quite a bit when you swap pick guards on guitars like this, is the holes for the new pick guard actually did not line up with the original holes from the old pick guard. So I did have to plug the original holes and drill new ones. Not real hard to do. It's something that's pretty common on guitars like this, and something else to keep in mind if you're going to put a different pick guard on this. And then one other thing to keep in mind on this four-way switch mod, like I said, you can get it to work on any two pickup guitar with a blade style switch, but if you are going to do it on a dual humbucker guitar or a guitar with a humbucker in the neck position, those pickups that have the bare ground wire wrapped around one of your pickup wires, you are going to have to separate that wire and actually solder that bare ground wire directly to ground. Otherwise, what happens is you just end up with basically a big kill switch here. So with all that being said, why don't I go ahead and give you a few tones. I'm not going to go through every single tone that this guitar does. I mean, because there's basically 12 different tones that this guitar can produce. But I will go through all the different switch positions, and I will just kind of show you how the series parallel switching works on the push pulls and the kill switch also. For the tone demos, so I'm going to be using, as always, my Orange Crush 35 RT. Crunch tones, as always, is going to be my Music Lily Vintage Overdrive mini pedal. And then, as always, for the distortion, the high gain stuff, it's just the dirty channel on the amp. Alright, so why don't I go ahead and start. So this is actually, position 1 is actually the bridge pickup. So here's what the bridge pickup sounds like clean. So we have... So then position 2 is actually both pickups, and they're actually in parallel, so that the pickups themselves are in parallel with each other. Kind of like the that's basically like the traditional middle position on any two pickup guitar. Alright, now position 3 on this guitar is actually, it's the two pickups again, but they're actually in series with each other. So on a dual humbucker guitar, you basically have all 4 coils in series with each other. And the traditional way of wiring up this switch is usually you would have your 3 traditional tones, and then position 4 would be the 2 pickups in series with each other. But I actually found this method, and I actually thought it was more intuitive and made more sense to me, so that's the way I wired it up on this guitar. So here's the 2 pickups in series with each other. I'm not sure if that comes through on the camera or not, but obviously this is actually significantly much more output on that as opposed to position 2, because with all 4 coils in series, it essentially acts like it behaves kind of like a 4-coil humbucker. And then finally position 4 is just the neck pickup by itself. Alright, so yeah, those are the 4 switch positions. So let's go on to the crunch tones. That was position 1, and then we have position 2. And then we have position 3. And then position 4. Alright, and then now onto the distortion. That was position 1, and then position 2. position 3. And then position 4. Yeah, one of the other mods that I put in, just because I love to mess with them so much, is a kill switch. Basically, if you don't know, I'm sure you probably do, but if you don't know, a kill switch basically just cuts the signal out momentarily. So for instance, you can kind of do stuff like stuff like that, you know. It's just fun. They're just fun to mess around with. And then yeah, I do have like I said, we have push-pull pots in both knobs. So the contour knob, when I pull up on that, that actually puts the 2 coils in the bridge pickup in parallel. And then on the volume knob, when I pull up on that, that puts the 2 coils in the neck pickup in parallel. What that does is they kind of behave like 2 single coil pickups then. For instance, so here's the bridge pickup. Here's the bridge pickup in the series. And then if I pull up and put them in parallel, so it kind of brightens it and thins the tone out a little bit. You kind of get those in between strat tones, kind of like positions 2 and 4 on a strat. And then what's really cool is you can actually so position 2 with the neck pickup in parallel, and then the bridge pickup with the 2 coils in series, you can get like a really nice Telecaster-y type sound, kind of like that reminds me of the that's actually one of my favorite tones that this guitar does. It reminds me a lot of like the middle position on a Telecaster. What else is cool is you can actually, with both of them up in position 2, you basically have all 4 coils in parallel now, so you kind of get it gets real quacky, which is kind of cool. You do lose a little bit of input when they are in parallel, but you get those in between stratty tones that, you know, that strats are always good for. And then one of my favorite too that this guitar does is position 4 with the neck pickup in parallel. You get a really nice, it sounds a lot like position 4 on a strat. So you get that position 4 strat tone that which is really nice, really nice. And then the last thing I want to hit on is the contour knob. So when I first wired it up and plugged it in, I was actually kind of underwhelmed by it, because it's not as a dramatic or noticeable a change as a traditional tone knob. In fact, I was actually double checking my diagrams to see the wiring diagrams I was using as reference to see if I had actually wired this mod up wrong. But actually, the more I messed with it, the more I like it. In fact, I have another guitar that I'm going to be modding, and that guitar has dual volume, dual tone. I'm actually going to rewire it, so one of the tone knobs is going to be a master tone, and the other one's going to be a contour knob, just because I really do like it so much. It's not always that noticeable on certain positions, but I do find a lot of the positions with the pickups in parallel, like position 4 with the neck pickup in parallel, I do find it more noticeable there. So not sure how much that comes across on the camera, but as I roll it off, it thins the tone out a bit, because it rolls off the bass, and then if you roll it up, you can kind of hear the tone fatten back up a bit. Not sure how much that comes across on the camera, but I really do like it. I think it is actually a really useful mod. Alright, so there you have it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of these mods. If there was something different that you would have done, feel free to share that. Or if you have one of these guitars and you plan on modding it, or you've modded it yourself, feel free to share what you plan on doing it or what you've done to it. I will put links in the description to the wiring diagrams that I used for reference in case you want to try out any of these mods for yourself. I do have a review video on this guitar, so if you're interested in that, or if you want to know what it sounded like originally, I'll put a link in the description to my review video also. And then if you're interested in trying out these pickups here, I bought them on Temu. They for like $11. I've noticed they kind of range from like $11 to $15 depending on, like, you know, what color bobbins you want. But if you're interested in trying those, I'll put a link in the description for that. And anyways, with all that being said, thanks for watching.